Exactly, exactly. Okay, Rumble going to be banned away first as we dive into the draft for Game 1. HANWHA Life Esports with the blue side advantage as they will take away the Rumble and the Kalista. Yone and the Vi removed on the side of the DN Freaks. Xin Zhao, kind of what's standing out. Pantheon, of course, feeling very strong at this point in time. And Talia, bit of a no-brainer here as that one is going to be removed. The first pick, I think, going to be aimed towards that top side.
I think it's B1 Azir.
Or it's, yeah, B1 Azir. I was thinking B1 Gwen because we've been seeing so much of it, but I like the Azir a lot more with that Talia ban.
Yeah, it's going to be Xin Zhao, Gwen, or Azir. It's just that the Talia ban would make me in that. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and the trade of Xin Pantheon is something that teams have been pretty happy with.
Yeah, not too bothered. You can even go Skarner. I know a lot of teams like that Skarner setup together with the...
I think Skarner's bad.
Well, yeah, I'm not a fan of it, but I'm just preparing us for what might come. As the Gwen gets locked in, Gwen Pantheon is then secured.
Why didn't they take double circles, Chronicler?
You wanted Xin?
Yes, I like Xin Gwen is
like,
strong.
My first one was like, you want Wukong? I'm like, that's a bit, that's 2 circles, but not gonna be the case. The flex pick of the Poppy, I think, would be great here. Obviously, most likely we'll go to Peanut because Peanut loves playing Poppy.
Yep. Also works really well into Pantheon. I kind of like it denying the stun.
It's also good with Azir. As the last time we saw this matchup, things were not good for the Gwen. They were really, really rough.
Yeah, but then you can just play Zoe.
I like the Annie here. Annie Pantheon. That's a mid-jungle duo that does its job. This one will be not quite as interesting, but still makes a ton of sense. We'll see. Dudu most likely going to be running the Exhaust Gwen. Gwen is one of the characters where you can get away with that because of the safety.
Yeah, true.
Shroud and her E, so that's nice at least.
Now, and last time we saw ZEUS completely terrorize a game as his Kennen, there was double exhaust on the other side.
Yes, and he still
did the Kennen things.
Yeah. We'll see. But ends up coming through here. I would love if DN Freeks pick 80 carry on 4 and then let Life maybe pull out something like the set.
Yeah.
Into an enemy cannon, you know, he tries to jump into your team. Slam him out. Lucian taken away. So Ashe, I think, makes sense. Jhin is one that you can go with these type of compositions. Varus would have made sense as well. Ashe, Jhin, and utility. MF is stronger in the lane. Do think that this is a MF game that's a little bit tricky to play into the air and the cannon.
I feel like, playing it into some of the most dangerous flanking mages in the game, if you can even really call Kennen a mage. It's so weird, he's like technically a ninja, but he is does a lot of magical damage. And if he does make it into that backline, it's going to be very difficult to stand there and press a bullet time button. You'd hope that bullet time was actually like it is in the Matrix, you know, where everything slows down and then the cannon can't immediately kill you. I think it should be. I think Life has had some great performances on the champion, and they are very short range and brawly, and you may as well just all in on the tactic. Instead, looking at the Braum, which we have seen have a lot of success so far this week, and Nico would be better for the lane. They are going to lock that one in instead. So double range there towards that bottom side. I think Viper and Delight are going to have a tough time in that 2v2. But I think ultimately, HANWHA Life Esports have said...
A bit more of a susceptible to the target, so maybe they'll try and shut him down early as ZEUS did go for the best cannon skin, which I think... I love the double skin.
And also, Ragdoll Poppy, bit of a hipster skin there for Peanut as well. You love to see that. But it is time, ladies and gentlemen. Let's dive under the rift for game number 1. HLE versus DNF. Ooh, DNF fans. I can hear the desperation, but there's also a lot of volume here in Lowell Park today. And honestly, a lot of bums on seats when it comes to one of our lower teams as far as the standings are concerned. You can really see that no matter who you are, there is someone that's going to be there to support you. And in the case of our LCK teams, there are a lot of people. So very impressive stuff coming out to support the underdog in their most difficult week. Of course, they went up against Gen G earlier on, and now DNF have to face the second place team here in the LCK. But HLE just lost to KT. This would be the time where you could take them down. It's not HLE coming off a loss against Gen G, which would have been understandable. It's KT. And no one should lose to KT, and everyone should lose to KT. But also no one should lose to KT, if you are HLE, especially.
Yeah, generally KT save their blue shell. You know how you're like you're kind of down in the rankings in Mario Kart, and you're making sure that the blue shell is at the ready just the right time. Usually it's saved for Gen G. Not the case though with that win over HANWHA, but as we have often talked about what KT does and how we don't understand it on a fundamental level. But we can highlight what went wrong for HANWHA Life. And it was Peanut and ZEUS specifically that I think were the two big weak points on that specific day. I think the Light also didn't have his best showing, even though he has been incredible. As well, I mean, we knew this was
there's
gonna
not
happen,
a lot
right?
of good stats, are there?
They are 1-12 and -19. So I think it's always going to be hard-pressed to find stats that look good.
Ooh, Orb Deception going to connect there from Bulldog, putting on some pressure here. Zeka not going to be too worried. Pretty comfortable on the Azir these days, as we know. Was one of the champions he used to win Worlds in 2022, so still pretty good at that. As Chovy and Faker, the only ones to win in this matchup as the Ahri.
That's not good.
Yeah.
that's
Bulldog is not
good.
one of the names on the list, so it would have been better for this specific matchup if Bulldog was one of those names, but instead he just needs to play as well as Faker and Chovy.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just do that.
I like your problem solving.
Yeah.
It's
sometimes the simplest solution is the most obvious, you know? And the most obvious is just play like Chovy and Faker in order to win this matchup. Also, like, have Canyon or Owner as your jungler. That would be helpful as well.
Yeah,
but
there really are. You know the meme about like the two paths you can take, and then one is sunny and the other is like no.
Yep.
Which, as I found out, is from a Yu-Gi-Oh card apparently.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I had no idea. If it's Owner and Canyon, the paths are different because they're very different styles, but they both get you to the sunny part.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Peanut had, I think, a great LCK Cup, has had a lot of good moments, but has kind of tapered off a little bit in the recent weeks. This is something that with Peanut
it's sort of like, it's the mid-season
right?
crisis that he often has. That's all right. Zeka is going to get interrupted here. Life comes over and is a little bit annoying. No follow-up there, but is going to be denied a bit of time. Might give a little bit of tempo over to DNF here as well. As Zeka, you can see, not going to be resetting just yet. Needs to catch that wave as the swap has come on through. Having a look, just a little bit of a peek towards that top side. We don't want to be watching it too much because it's just going to, like, we don't want to bully Dudu, you know? That is ZEUS' job, and hopefully he's going to do it off camera. It is just going to be a very difficult time for the Gwen. We've seen this already. But you can see, yeah, he's ahead by about a wave thus far.
We're going to get a lot better as the ward has been placed. I think ZEUS was looking for a stun. So maybe set up something onto Dudu. Is still easier to gank because of the fact that he doesn't have a defensive summoner. Well, he does, but, you know, not one that gets him to the safety of his turret too easily. As
it was a decent sidestep, but that's a lot of damage taken by Viper.
You actually have a ton of pressure coming through here from the bot side of DNF, and they should. Right, this is why we picked Nico. The call, though, for Berserker adds even more pressure to HANWHA Life to try and not fall too far behind in that lane.
Very impressive thing is that even with the cull, they're able to command this much control of the lane. Crash is going to come through. It looks like Viper will be able to pretty comfortably take the cannon here as well. Delivered there by Delight.
Even then, that's what, like 12?
Yeah, no, it's a big lead. Pioshik also able to put some pressure on here towards the bottom side. Flash comes through. The exhaust is down as snip, snip goes Dudu. And the flash comes out, and the charged up Q from Pioshik locks up the first blood. So we were talking about some bullying. That's why you call your cousin. He comes over and he helps out. They're not cousins, by the way. It's just that was the thing when I was in primary school. It's like, I'll get my cousin to come over and he'll
really, I'm kind of sad you wasted it on this play because that would have been a perfect cuz joke.
Would have been.
Sorry, missed opportunity there, but this is what we highlighted. Credit to Pioshik. One of the biggest weaknesses of ZEUS is with ZEUS, with the style that he plays, is that he is susceptible to ganks. And I actually thought he was out. I thought he was fine. Wasn't meant to be. Great timing on the gank here. ZEUS does know something is wrong. And the exhaust actually working very nice offensively, but it's the max stack Q that actually ends up doing it. The damage more than enough.
Also stuck in a very awkward position as well, in between the turrets, so not a lot of juking available.
And it's one of those scenarios where if he's 5 seconds later, then ZEUS has the crash, like he clears the wave and he can just back off, right? And if Dudu tries to freeze, he can maybe look for harass. But now ZEUS did catch, I think, because of the fact that Dudu still got pretty low and Pioshik wasn't able to push out too far, still got a decent amount of the wave. But once this crashes, I think that Dudu will be basically even, which you're going to take if you're in this matchup. You still have prio, so you can play towards the dragon.
Yeah, quite a few cast minions here, as we can see. See how many of them Dudu will be allowed to get. ZEUS trying to put on as much pressure as possible. Catalyst going to really help out Dudu in this lane, though, as far as being harassed. As long as he can fight back, should be an opportunity here. ZEUS missing a bit of the CS, but wants to desperately pick up this crash, and will be able to do so. Peanut will collect the dragon very, very early on in this game. We haven't seen a lot of very early dragons, only alive for 2.5 minutes. And is not going to be one of our ignored dragons this game. The Soul definitely going to be a win condition for HLE especially.
This has been a constant in DNF games. Their laning phase is actually pretty solid.
Yeah, they were, what, middle of the pack as far as early advantages are concerned?
Yeah, they were fine. Their laning has been one of the few things that has consistently been pretty solid. We had like the... I think Bulldog pre-swap out was really rough, and then Pongyan also wasn't able to catch up. But now I think we get to, you know, normal Bulldog where he falls behind a little bit, but he's been fine. Kind of where he was in 2024 as well.
Yep.
But it's the skirmishes that I need to see from DNF. That is where they had their biggest improvement against KT, where Pioshik and Life actually look to be on the same page. But it's also been where they have completely fallen apart. We might see one of those here. It looks like mid lane not allowed to roam. Bulldog being kept in the lane.
Yeah, Tanglebobs comes through here from Life, as that is Peanut locking down one of these. Bulldog going to get thrown away by the Emperor's Divide. Zeka not going to have that for the skirmish.
Jhin is ult.
So does Peanut, but he throws it away. Pioshik comes down as Zeka trying to leave. It's 2 grubs going over to HLE, but they may lose their mid laner for it. As flash out from Zeka, he holds onto the button and he knows that Pioshik was looking for that one. Of course, they have a bit of experience together. And he does get himself away. So HLE, bit of highway robbery here, as it was DNF that started off the grubs. They take 2 of them, and they keep their mid laner alive. But the flash is now down.
Pioshik looking for that roasted pigeon there. You know, impale him on the spear, take him home. Not gonna happen. Still, I like the play. I actually thought that was a cool little setup there from Pioshik, able to redirect with his ult, then use the upgraded movement speed from E to get on top of the Azir. And Bulldog can follow up, just barely doesn't get the kill, but pretty even trade, I'd say. 2 grubs is fine, but, you know, grubs have been more of a it's nice to have as opposed to a feels like they are really worth a lot.
Yep.
You take your eyes off your turn a little bit, but the early game for D and FREECS looking good here.
It is. One of the worries that I have is that the more and more I watch this HLE figure themselves out, and when we see them at their best, the most impressive part for me is just how malleable Viper is, as he is going to walk out of a bullet time as best he can. It was almost a caster curse, but just his ability to play weak side or carry is just kind of ridiculous. His Jhin undefeated at the moment, demonstrating that they have him on weak side duty quite often, playing that utility role, and he's just absorbing pressure all the time. Just must be very frustrating facing off against this guy. As speaking of frustrating, Dudu does have some friends here towards the bottom side. ZEUS will be exhausted, but that does wear off, and Dudu now trying to get out of the way. He will survive as the shuriken does not land. So HLE not able to find it, and they do get the exhaust, but there was no flash to gain from Dudu, so he's still going to be scary.
Does open up some possibilities for a fight where ZEUS will have no one to exhaust, because DNF are only running the single one. Only Dudu has his available. Still nicely done there by the gang from Peanut, even though he doesn't get the kill. I think if he has his ult, then maybe they can, right? Like, I think an extra knock-up could have done it. But they do get the summoner. They also get the TP out of the Gwen. I think ZEUS will be fine. This is just, if it was actually Pioshik, I think he could be in some serious trouble, but not going to be the case. Dudu, though,
Yeah.
Using the tempo thanks to his support to get, I think it's at least one, but maybe even 2 plates here.
That should be the next one. Oh, never mind. Teleport is going to be enough to deter him as the captive audience is down. Dudu should be able to deal with this wave as in goes ZEUS. Finds himself the stun, but you can see with this Rod of Ages now completed, Dudu is very, very comfortable. And so far, so good here for the DN Freaks. All right, Yoshik also going to find Peanut as he makes his way in. He's going to run pretty fast, though. Phase Rush and Poppy, you're not killing it.
No, Atlas, you know I'm not one for overreactions.
All right.
But are we a one-team region?
Well, I mean, was HLE ever going to be the same kind of domestic powerhouse as Gen G ever?
No, because no one is. That's kind of the whole.
Well, I mean, okay, so
that's
like
kind of the issue with
like
Gen G, right?
The other like I guess comparison that you could make is KT a couple of years back, right, where they were domestically dominant. Like they were really, really good at winning at home. Really? HLE is just a team that, if they make it to playoffs, they will probably just win. This is the thing. That's the frustration that you have. In just your regular season, everyday best of 3, majority of the time, they're going to win. Sometimes, they're just not going to really worry too much about the result. That's what we saw at the beginning of this week. Maybe this is like a wellness week, you know? Where they're just not really focusing on the scrims. It's all about, you know, like they've been pampering. They're going to the spa, you know, that stuff.
They've been they were up a mountain yesterday to enjoy the view.
Exactly. It's all about hitting that Zen state.
Before summer sets in.
Exactly.
You know, and also, like, who cares? We're 11-2.
I mean, it's the first couple of weeks of, like, really, really lovely weather here in Seoul as well. So this would be the time to have the wellness week.
Atlas, if I'm having a bad time and I need a good reason, like an excuse for why I've been slacking, I'm texting you.
Oh, heck yeah. We can have a wellness weekend.
This is well, no, I mean more so the way you're, you know, there's no responsibility for HANWHA in this scenario.
No, there's not.
Like, guys, it's fine.
Yeah, it's perfect. If you're ever looking for an excuse, I'm your guy. I'm right there.
You can just add him on Twitter.
Maybe part of the reason why I'm not a rocket scientist.
If you need an excuse for anything, Atlas is your man.
I got you. So, HLE, they are feeling very, very comfortable, relaxed, and happy.
We're just assuming this is the truth now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Assumptions sometimes make things more fun. As Berserker going to move towards the mid lane, this is going to be sort of that mid-game switch-up that we're going to see. The dangerous part of the game for the DN Freaks.
Atlas, if you can choose between Hot Spring, Sauna, or like classic wellness resort. I know there's overlap, but like, you know the archetype I'm kind of talking about?
Yeah, for me it's Hot Spring,
so it's like
and it's not even close.
It's like nature-based Hot Spring.
Yeah.
Traditional Finnish sauna.
I actually
like in the middle of winter.
Yeah, I personally hate anything that involves like extra people.
And then
so I would
wellness
prefer,
resort
yeah.
Okay.
What I want is like a long hike, and at the end there is a hot spring.
And there's no one else.
And there's no one
it's
there.
Just yeah, that's good.
That's what I want. I actually like saunas bother me. I'm not really a huge fan.
I'm a sauna winter guy.
You
know, you just have like your tiny wooden.
Yeah, the wooden box.
The wooden box, and then you get
very
out
European
in the snow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
What's snow again? No, I know all about snow now.
You're
I've been here for 8 years. Yeah, never mind. I just bought a snowboard.
We have gone snowboarding twice.
We have indeed. Shout out to Seth Achilleos King,
the
leader of the movement towards snow activities here in Korea.
Absolutely.
All right.
So we have about 2 minutes, right? Because then Dragon. We might have more time.
2 minutes plus some. No chrono break, by the way, guys. This was Life bought a banned item. It's just not allowed at the moment, and Life has to go back, and he sells it as Dudu going to be pushed away here by Zeka, who says no. I would prefer it if we didn't do that. The other Pantheon is now going to look for him, but I think Zeka has made it far enough and is going to be okay. He's just going to be heading off now. Yeah, Pioshik was thinking about setting up for some sort of potential dive, but not going to be sticking around for that one. As here we go. just wandering back. We've got some pings out, really accurate ones there from the DN Freaks as well, spotting the fact that there is a couple coming down here towards this bottom side. As Pyosik and Dudu wanting to finish off this turret. In goes Zeka, but he does have Peanut there. No Emperor's Divide, but no chance here, and Pyosik knows that he's going to flash away as Life makes his way out. All right, and ZEUS also going for a little bit of aggression here towards the top side, just a trade of ultimates though, and he picks up the pedal. So you can see, Orcs is going to be happy with how this game's going. So far, the first pedal we see, immediately taken and prioritized.
Very good. The old statement, if something looks too good to be true, it probably is. If Zeka is TPing back into a turret that is definitely under heavy siege, that probably means his buddies are right on the way. The timely arrival of Delight and Peanut ensures that he is fine.
Zeka. Nice little crash there. Goes an awkward direction. Has to flash immediately, but does get out. That was like, yeah, he had a car accident, but he survived just fine in the end. Had to use his airbag, which was the flash in this particular example.
Yeah, Zeka, I was giving you praise for the previous TP. I'd appreciate it if you don't then immediately literally faceplant into a wall.
He got the charge.
Yeah, he did.
That's something. Just want to say that I appreciate you all in chat, letting us know that you are leaving the stream open. This is a beautiful community that we have here, and we're just so happy to have you. Okay, Viper and Berserker doing that 80 carry thing, parked in this mid lane, as Delight is going to be set up as well. And Zeka just sort of nursing his ego at this point in time, but he's going to make his way back out, does have his ulti back up and available, and I'm hoping that we get something to break this stalemate. As right now it's a Cloud Soul, that certainly helps with the action, so it'll just speed things up just a little bit. As Zeka, I was talking about you nursing your ego. He was looking to try and make a bit of a play there, but is closed in on, able to shift the sands, gets himself out of the way.
Remind ourselves, last time DNF took a game off of HANWHA. Not quite there yet, but it would be cool. I do gotta say, for DNF, it really is a hit or miss on the ultimate. You know, the value of Cloud Soul, like the speed up that you get. Because you do have one of the characters which is probably the worst out of anyone.
All right, Dudu. Oh, going a bit aggressive. It's a preemptive exhaust. An early flash there from ZEUS as well, but they're committing to this dive. Pyosik taking so much damage. He's dead. And that was not the dive that we wanted to see. Last time around, it went well. This time, the God of Thunder is going to strike.
Just take the exit, man. Yeah, you do. Well,
yeah, sometimes you got to gracefully take the L.
We just... you know, you can't... Sorry, I'm having a hard time with this. Yeah. There was a very clear...
As it turns out, he could.
Yeah, there was a very clear exit. Right there is... Oh!
There's a flash forward from Delight. Picks them up with the Magnet Storm there as well. As ZEUS, no ulti, but no worries there. As the curtains have been called. Oh, one more bullet. And not going to land, as Berserker will survive. Fancy footwork, and of course, a little bit easier when you get to strut your stuff, but nicely done. As Viper just wandering past this turret with that fourth bullet at the ready. That and a grenade probably was the end of Berserker there. As out goes Dudu. A little bit terrified of Thunderlord making his way back up towards that top side of the map, and is going to respect it. So 1-1 is going to be an even trade, and in fact it was Pyosik killing ZEUS and then ZEUS killing Pyosik. That is the result of that. Still things extremely even outside of the extra grubs and the extra dragon.
The moment you get the flash, that's good.
Yeah.
Even after that, you can still peace out.
Pyosik's been playing for a while. Maybe he thought that he was the Pantheon that could dodge turret shots. It's not sort of the way. As once again, ZEUS is just going to make them look silly on his cannon. Dudu still looking to chase after him. We'll see whether the stun is going to come through. It is going to be there, but finally, the rest of the cavalry turns up, and Bulldog will be able to take them down, but not after the cost. Like, it is a 1-for-1 trade, and turret falls down in mid, turret falls down in the bottom lane, and the DN Freaks not going to be able to get too much for this one, outside of Dudu maybe being able to take down this top outer turret that was already very low anyway.
So to summarize,
yes.
ZEUS is still up 630 gold. He traded 1-for-1.
Okay.
Dudu is definitely not going to survive this.
Well, we're Hex flashing. Viper is going to be able to lock him down.
That's Otacon.
Yeah, that is Otacon. That is a dead Gwen, and that is starting to look like a real advantage that HLE has in this game.
Dan Freaks, oh, he's on a mission.
All for this.
Oh, he is ready. They do not know. I mean, he's Pantheon though, so I assume they're gonna, yeah, like it doesn't really matter where he is, and they're just not gonna go for it anyway. Would have been cool though, but I don't think realistically he makes it there, so.
I think the idea of not going in was definitely one of his better choices.
Well, but they should have done that earlier. If you're gonna not go in,
hey,
not
you've
going
got to
earlier.
celebrate learning from your mistakes, Chronicler, okay? You can look at things two ways, right? And that kind of negativity I don't think is constructive. And I think celebrating when they identify a mistake and then pivot away from it, that is the thing we should focus on. So this is part of the mistake.
Yeah, Life unceremoniously dies because ZEUS is still quite big in this game. Very fed.
Yeah, and from that point on, this is always a losing trade.
Yes. Well, so if they then just back off after that, I think it is still fine. But it's the fact that Peanut is able to catch Dudu with the sweeper over the wall, deny, and then you're never getting away from the Poppy and Jin combo. As
Okay. Bulldog, oh, they're still going after him. Charm is going to connect, though, as the Deadly Flourish very, very close. Bulldog just out of range of that one. Viper is like a sniper, man. It is very scary.
That's why it rhymes.
Yeah. Does it? Sniper, Viper? Yeah, I guess it does. It's something about the sn start of it that just really doesn't sound rhyming with v. They're just very different, but when they end with Ipa,
notoriously,
fine,
I think rhyming, the more important part is
it's
the end of the word.
It is the end, you're right. Okay, Zeka is going to find some air here, and Koshik will be able to lock him down. Still, Life is just dead. How does Zeka go in for just a straight-up air ball?
Atlas.
And then the rest of his team's there to, oh, never mind, it was an alley-oop. No, it's fine.
Atlas, clearly he was ulting for zone control, okay?
Oh, no, he was actually cleaning. He was just sweeping the ground to make sure it's all clean.
Yeah, and then, oh, I didn't sweep up Live? Well, that's fine. You guys can kill him. That was never my priority
Yeah, because
anyway.
he didn't move back, he was already dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This game is rapidly becoming a little silly.
It's becoming something that we have to make excuses for rather than actually just commentate.
Well, I think we are also somewhat to blame. And when looking at the game state, it is actually still quite close. So maybe we are wrong in treating this like a done deal. But I have also seen enough HANWHA Live games to know that if Peanut hasn't died yet and ZEUS has only died twice, but he's still up 1,000 gold, that's not the right timeline. And I know a lot about...
also like a ZEUS Kennen game. Like, he struggles to lose.
I know a lot about timelines, okay? Time loop time is one of my favorite types of media.
Yeah.
I don't think this is the one. I think we had to make some different choices.
Maybe we could just separate ourselves into a different dimension. One that has made slightly different choices.
Okay, I think Multiverse, that's like kind of... I know it's adjacent, but I feel like it's not quite the same.
Really? All right. Well, Bulldog is going to look for something. Doesn't really find an angle here. Soul point on the table for HLE. There is the exit of the jungler, though, so Peanut going to make this not a 50-50. This is, in fact, a let's just leave type scenario for DNF, and they do get the memo that that's precisely what they should do. But that is still going to be Soul point going over to HLE, and if this is a sign of things to come when it comes to the objectives, DNF not going to really have too many options.
So, Viper also doesn't use the Cloud Soul very well. Everyone else, though, pretty good. And
hey, it does mean... No. If you spot someone coming out on a flank and you cancel your ulti, you run away really fast. Well, it's actually kind of useful.
It's better... Well,
it's the same as MF.
Yeah, okay, so... Technically, that is true, but I feel like...
Because Cloud Soul works in a really cool way, because it activates after a channeled ability, not as you activate it, right? So Malzahar gets to run away quickly after his thing. So it's cool.
Yeah, Atlas, I know you're the #1 Cloud Soul salesman, but I think we just focus on the fact that Kennen and Rel are the team. If you got to only choose one... Dudu's dead, by the way, guys. He just wasn't actually able to do anything and then died. I don't think that really... We didn't need to talk too much about it. No. So you were saying...
So I was saying that even if it was just on the Kennen, that would be powerful enough. Cloud Soul on Kennen is so broken. As Peanut finds just a small sliver of wall, and that is going to get both summoner spells out of Berserker. Like, right on the edge. That wall was broken as well. If it was broken just a little bit further up, he may not have had to use the flash.
I know the game isn't done.
Well,
but I also... Atlas.
Sorry.
Well,
yes, you're right.
We're trying to keep the 6-game dream alive, okay? Yeah, your birthday was a mulligan. That one doesn't count.
Yep.
4 out of 5 days, 6 out of 6.
It's pretty good.
We gotta avoid the dreaded 5-gamer. Because if it's a 4-0, I think it's still bait.
Yeah, no. We're just hoping it's not cringe. And the only way it can be cringe is 5, yeah.
And hey, if T1 Gen G doesn't go the free, I'll be very sad.
Honestly, if this is a 2-0 though, and then we get a 3-gamer for T1 Gen G, pretty sure that's not cringe.
No, because it's 5. That supersedes however...
Oh, no, wait. Does it just cringe anyway?
Yeah.
Oh, God, no.
We went through this in 2023 Challengers.
No, but that was 8 versus 9. You know, that's cringe. But 5 versus 6?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not the graph.
All right, the graph has come up. It's a bad news story. Although it's a much earlier Infinity Edge for Berserker, he is still relatively powerful.
Oh, shit, come on. You can do this.
Yeah, there is a very scary cannon off on a flank angle as 3.5k is approaching on the Baron. HLE looking for the turn, not wanting to make this a 50-50 unless Peanut just evicts Pioshik from the area. And the ulti going to miss this time around. HLE gonna get engaged on. Great Pop Blossom there from Life as the bullet time comes in. The steal from Pioshik as well, as Peanut will be taken down as the first kill, and HLE are just scattering. Bulldog will not find the charm, and Pioshik will not find anyone. Magnustorm is going to connect us now. ZEUS just eviscerates Berserker in the backline. Delight and ZEUS just saving this team fight by themselves, while Viper is taking the rest of them for a walk. Yeah, the teleport going to come in as ZEUS looking to make his way forward. They sacrifice Viper as once again, playing for utility, ladies and gentlemen. They're looking to complete the aces. Another wanting to hold them in position. No! Pioshik going to say no to the pentakill, but yes to the ace. As comically, so many of these buttons go wide, and Zeka will be able to pick that one up. So no more Barons left here for DNF.
I respect the Pioshik. A teammate can give a penta.
Yeah.
As an opponent, no. It needs to be
it's all about denial. You have
to earn it. As we take another look here, this is a good initial setup here, because even though HANWHA Life are very, very hesitant, at some point, because they kept the Baron around 4k, at some point it gets too low, so Berserker can just channel his ult, and then you are going to be favored to smite if you're Pioshik because of the Q. Oh. This turn, though, from Delight and ZEUS.
Delight and ZEUS planned that the whole time. Yes. As soon as everything went wrong, they were like, no, we killed them.
And Viper then tries to redo his great run, you know, the one for the enemy base where he ran for...
Yep.
This time he does get caught, but
he doesn't have the cinders, though, you know?
Yeah, well, he's not quite speedy enough, but who cares? They still win the fight. As here, Zeka, I know you want to give the penta, Zeka. I get it.
Like you can hit him.
But you should have... Zeka's just like...
You're not going to one-shot him with a Sand Soldier, man.
I didn't notice the first time, but see, this is like... Yeah, definitely. You know when you're so nice that you're like, oh, no, you take the penta.
Yeah, no, exactly. And then they get away.
Cost him the penta. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's not great. Anyway, they do manage to get the ace. No more Barons left. The Rebel Baron power play, something that we're not even able to talk about, really, in this one, as some curtains are being called here, and Bulldog will answer by not getting hit by any of them. This is Cloud Soul, ladies and gentlemen. HLE going to be real speedy on this one. The flank angle kind of scary as Peanut zoning with the ult and picks up the dragon.
Oh, no.
Yeah. ZEUS, not even on a flank angle here. Speaking of flanks
as well.
Okay, Pioshik looking for an opportunity. They want to dive onto Viper yet again, but look at this. HLE, they just regroup, get back into position, and they're not going to be taking him down this time. Dudu, he might be the one that's in trouble, though. Out of the mist and out of options, and that is Zeka that's going to lock him down. ZEUS looking for more as well, as Berserker needing to run away. The Mark of the Storm is on him, and ZEUS will be following him up. There's the flash, and there's also the Deadly Flourish from Viper, perfectly aimed. That's a very dead MF. Yeah, that's some Cloud Soul value for you. Perfect example. I actually really hope that the space doesn't actually break down the series. They just break down how good Cloud Soul is.
on every. They're gonna like show. If Viper had Cloudso in his previous setup where he died, he would have actually lived.
Exactly. Imagine if Berserker like wasn't against Cloud Soul when he was trying to run away there. Maybe Strut was going to be enough.
It is such a crazy thing to me because even with the Cloud Soul, looking at the gold, DN FREECS have been remarkably close throughout the entire.
Yeah, it's not even a 3,000 gold lead, even now.
And all the gold is on ZEUS.
Yep.
So if ZEUS missteps once and you blow him up, that's the gold lead basically gone.
Yeah, or he gets a pentakill, which is almost what happened. It's, yeah, I think the DN FREECS, they have a win condition now. It is kill ZEUS, never let him do anything in this game again.
He does have...
He's got an arm guard and 3 other
that does
items.
make it hard.
Yeah, I never said it was going to be an easy task. I just said that that's the task.
No one said it was easy.
Nope. And all good things, you know, all things worth doing are difficult. You know?
No, I was trying to do the Coldplay song. Nobody said it was easy, but I can't figure the next line.
Yeah, I only know yellow. And that one about time.
Yeah, I think this is...
No, it's about watches.
Clocks? Yeah, clocks.
Ah, clocks, yeah, that's...
Wait, you know the scientists though, right? That's the...
I know a few of them. Who's your favorite?
I don't have a favorite.
Are you a Galileo guy? I feel like he doesn't get enough recognition. As he was also a bit of a philosopher. As we've got a inhibitor turret taken down here. And the inhibitor soon to follow. Delight, will he find an angle? There's the flash forward. You could tell he was looking for it as Bulldog just going to burn down. ZEUS will find another double kill. Let's see whether this time the Penta is... Never mind, it's not happening. Viper just says goodnight to life. And in fact, ZEUS is dead, but he is still going to get the last laugh. As the crash down on top of Dudu slammed into his own Nexus, and Pioshik just going to have to watch. As, never mind, he might just die. Is Zeka going to go golden, making him look a little bit silly at the end of this one. Flashes away, and there it is. The ace is completed, and HLE will find this Game 1 victory, even though it looked like the gold was close throughout the entirety of this game. It felt like things were just slipping out of the grasp of the DN FREECS from quite early on in this one, and HLE will do it in Game 1.